Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Report, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
I'm Emily Grafeo. Tim Stenovic is here. Let's take a look at some stocks on the move today. We're joined by managing editor for Bloomberg Markets Live blog, Christine Aquino. Okay, Home Depot. This is one that I feel like Wall Street really pays attention to because it's considered an economic bellwether, a read on the consumer. How did it do?
Well, it did pretty well, actually, Emily. So Home Depot HD shares up more than 3% at the close. And, we did get their results for the second quarter. Comparable sales return to growth. So that is the main story there, right? It was falling before 3.3% a year earlier. Now, for this particular quarter, it rose 1%. The kicker, though, is that it did fall short of analyst estimates. They were expecting a 1.39% growth rate. But still, that was enough to push the stocks higher. And in terms of, its function as a bellwether, what we did hear from CFO Richard McPhail was that Americans aren't necessarily taking on large projects at the moment. What they're doing instead is taking on smaller projects, and Home Depot is still benefiting from that. So Bloomberg Intelligence saying that its investment in areas including its online website and its supply chain make it well placed for a rebound.
Yeah, this is interesting to see because as somebody who's not good at home improvement, I still have to buy stuff from Home Depot.
Yeah.
It's just a question of I see people there and I'm like, how do you guys know how to use all this stuff?
Right. There's pieces of lumber.
Yeah.
It's what are you doing with
building?
That lumber?
I used to build cool stuff with my dad when I was little, but sometimes we don't. And, but back then, we lived in a place where people had garages and power tools. It's not like that in New York City.
Yeah, it's expensive real estate.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, but there's a new Home Depot near our office in Midtown East, New York City.
Moved. It used to be in our building. Did you know that?
Yes,
I knew
about that.
In our building, there was a Home
right.
Depot.
It was in our building, but it moved, and it's nice. I've been in there.
I'm
I'm
being
not
told it's on
lumber.
61st.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I'm not getting lumber. I go in there, I get batteries. It's so lame. Okay, Christine, Intel is another stock you were watching.
Intel, that's a green stock today. It's the ticker INTC. Shares up about 7% at the close. And, we've had a few big names investing into that company. We have, of course, Softbank agreeing to take a $2 billion stake in a company following a report that the Trump administration is in discussions to take a stake of about 10%. So a lot of interest there, right? A lot of big names coming and buying into the company. Analysts generally seeing that as a positive, but then they're also still skeptical about a lot of the company's prospects. A lot of questions still remaining there. Wedbush actually arguing that the government taking a direct stake could inhibit Intel's ability to maximize shareholder value.
Look, I'm not going to argue one way or another, but I understand that argument.
I mean, if you're beholden to a big shareholder, as the U.S. government is, you could imagine it would have a lot of sway.
Or if you're a company that is not seen as one that is part of a traditional quote unquote free market, where companies are allowed to fail or succeed based on their merit and what they're providing to customers, then, I think there's complications there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a wait and see because we did see the stock drop yesterday when Bloomberg News reported that the government was taking a 10% stake, but then it was up today. So would you say the market is still undecided about whether this is good or bad?
Exactly. I think there's kind of questions, and that's part of what analysts are saying. There's questions over how this is going to play out moving forward, and can Intel maintain its sovereignty over its strategic direction?
Nvidia is your final stock.
Which is linked to Intel.
Yeah.
When we're talking about Intel's woes, we can talk about Nvidia's successes.
Yeah, exactly.
Big picture, not today.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's primarily the reason why the whole market is down, right? Nvidia is pretty much the market these days. So ticker NVDA down 3.5% at the close. Again, it is one of the big casualties of the tech sell-off today. We had the Bloomberg Mag 7 index down 3 days in a row now. That's the longest streak since June. And reminder that Nvidia reports second quarter earnings next week. Big expectations there. Analysts are seeing 44% earnings growth. They want to see a 53% surge in revenue. And, for all of its declines today, it is still a favorite among big investors. The latest 13F filings, for instance, show that 107 hedge funds have more than 5% of their disclosed equity investments in Nvidia. So still a big favorite there despite the declines.
Oh, yeah. Think about it. If you're investing in a hedge fund and your hedge fund manager is like, oh, I don't like Nvidia, you'd be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I
Find a new hedge fund manager.
I'm going to find a new hedge fund manager. That's a hard one to bet against.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.